After the USJ, I would say good work, Deku, but never do anything that dangerous anymore. And you guys will have like a 2-week break until the sports festival, so we show that we are strong and that we're not afraid of no villains. So do take a 2-week break, do some stirring here and there, do some training here and there, Deku would be training with Denki, Kaminari. He'd be training with all sorts of people during this 2-week notice. Because, people want to train with him. Because, plot. Just for plot, bro. I just want people to be a bit stronger. Everyone except for Bakugo, Todoroki, Momo, Jiro, Mineta, Bird Guy, Ayama, Sugar Guy, Uraka, who else that I think will not train with him? What's pink girl with acid quirk? I can't remember her name. Froppy or whatever her name was. Let's see. Who else would train with him? I'm pretty sure that's everyone that wouldn't train with him. Whoever I didn't say will not train with him is training with him. So yeah, if you guys know the characters, you know who they are then. Because I can't be asked to tell you guys. Because I just can't. I'm too lazy. So anyway, Deku would obviously be the one talking, and he'd be giving this incredible speech, and after he's done, he'd just drop the mic and have the most aura, just walking away, be like, damn bro, he's cool, like, how are we gonna compete against this man? So anyway, this race would start, and it'd start, obviously. Todoroki would freeze the cave, obviously. Deku would get out of that quickly. He'd start running, and then he'd be facing the robots, obviously. Todoroki would set it up to where one of the robots would fall over, obviously. Then Deku would just jump up, destroy one of the robots, and keep on running. Right now, he's like a wee bit behind Todoroki because his quirk is not like really speed based. But he'll be able to adapt and catch up with that speed. So slowly, people would start seeing his wheel turn once, then twice, and then he'd get a sudden speed boost, and he'd start beating Todoroki by a wee bit, and then he'd start beating him drastically, and they'd start running over the pitfall thing, Michiki. I can't remember what it was called, but it had like ropes. You had to jump to each island, cross the rope or something like that. Then after that was the mines, right? If I remember correctly. So yeah, Deku would do the same strat as he did in the original. He'd take up the bombs, stick them up, and blow himself up, leading him to a victorious first start, way ahead of Todoroki. So yeah, he gets first place, he gets the 1 million headband, and he would team up with the same people as he did in the canon, because I can't be asked to think of any new people he'd team up with, and this time he would win. He'd get first place, and whoever stays in this round stays. So yeah, the battles would now start. Now the first battle, we got Deku versus Mind Wash. I can't remember his name, I just remember his quirk was mind washing. So obviously Deku's just walking in, and he said, hey. Mind washing guy would say, hey, you got a powerful quirk, how lucky? And he said, indeed, I am quite lucky. And then suddenly he'd stop moving, and he'd say, get out of the ring. and he'd start walking slowly, but then his wheel would turn once and he'd be back. Ha, you thought you can mind control me with my quirk? Really? And he said, my quirk is, anyone's quirk is just useless against this guy, and be like, well, might as well just give up and walk out of here. And he does. He just walks out. He's like, I give up. And everyone would be like, this was a horrendous fight. He didn't even try. He didn't even try to fight back after his quirk failed. So yeah, the other rounds after that would continue as in canon. You know, Ida would get the sad news that his brother got basically turned into a vegetable, which is crazy. So yeah. Then the second round would start, obviously. Deku versus Todoroki. Yes, everyone would be like, sure, yes, we get that. See something at least this time. So Todoroki would obviously start with freezing Deku, and the ref would start counting 10, 9, and then Deku would break out the ice and be like, nothing to me. And he'd start walking, breaking ice left, right. Todoroki would start getting cold, and then Deku would get closer, get ready for a punch, but then Todoroki would dodge with his ice sliding, and then he'd do a fire fist and be like, you make me use my dad's quirk. I don't want to use my dad's quirk, because yeah. And Deku would say, no, that is your quirk. It's not your dad's quirk. You're literally just using half your power while everyone else is using all their power. It's not your dad's quirk, it's your quirk. And Todoroki would be inspired and start using both his quirk and be like, you'll regret that, Deku. And he'd start fighting. Deku would be start punching, getting closer and closer, and Todoroki would be blasting left and right, jaw using his ice in different ways. But then Deku would finally blow out, use his final punch, and take out Todoroki out the ring and be like, he would raise his hand and be like, ah! Victory! Yes! Gold! I'm golded! And he'd go rest, and then the other rounds after that would continue as normal in the canon, obviously. Ida would still get humiliated by Eyeglass Lady, or whatever her name was. Smart woman in support class. Can't remember her name. Hatsume. That was her name. Pink hair Hatsume. I remembered her name, guys. So yeah, after that, basically we get to the skip till Bakugo and Deku, obviously. Bakugo would be like, okay, I gotta get him out of this ring before he adapts to my quirk and beats the ass cheeks. So he try push Deku out with explosions, drop kicking him, using all sorts of techniques, but Deku would just stand there and be like, bruh, you're weak. And he just punch left, right. Bakugo would almost get the ring, but then he explosion up and say, AP shot! Yes, I'm making Bakugo that strong, that where he has AP shot. This AP shot would almost get Deku out. He's leaning back, and then he'd go forward and be like, you should have not done that, Bakugo. You should have finished it. And now his wheel would turn once, twice, and he'd say, adaptation complete. And he'd start running towards Bakugo, blitzed behind him, karate chopped him, knocked him out. And he'd get first place. This time Bakugo's not angry. He'd be like, I've got it with a true fight. He'd be proud of himself. First would be Deku, Bakugo, and then third was, what was his name? Tokiyami? Yeah, Tokiyami. And Ida would be tied. But Ida would be, off with the call. So yeah. But All Might would hand them the medals, and he said, well done, young Midoriya, with your great quirk. And afterwards, All Might would pull him over and say, he would talk about his quirk and how he can give it to him, and that he has the perfect ability for his quirk. And he would say, Deku would say, nah, I don't need your quirk, All Might. I don't need your quirk. I'm already too overpowered with this quirk. Like, just get your quirk added onto that, like give it to someone else that actually needs it, All Might. I don't need that quirk, man. Yes, he would say it like that. Deku would say exactly what I just said to All Might, just casually. So yeah, anyways, after that, they would go, they take a wee break, you know, be off school, then come back the next day, choose their hero names. You know, everyone gets the same names as they do in canon, except for Deku. Deku would choose his hero name. His hero name will be Phoenix, because yeah, hero Phoenix, quirk adaptation, the adaptable hero Phoenix. Yeah, his hero name would be Phoenix, because yeah, that's pretty obvious. Why? Because rebirth, Phoenix is a symbol of rebirth, death. So yeah, basically that's why I picked it. I couldn't think of any other hero names. If you guys have any better hero names for Deku, comment it down below on this video. So yeah, anyway, we go past that and we go to the final exam where they had to fight the teachers and stuff. Obviously, Deku and Bakugo get paired up as canon, the fights go as normally, but this time they have to fight All Might. It would go different. Bakugo would actually team up with Deku because they're not that. He doesn't hate Deku as much this time because yeah, because he actually has a powerful quirk, and he knows he can't beat Deku. So yeah, they just team up and say, "Alright, let's beat All Might. I want you to take his punches, right, Deku? While you distract him, I blank sight him with my AP shots." Do come up with this plan, obviously, and do commence it. So Deku would be facing All Might and say, "All Might, if you don't finish me now in here, I'll just adapt to you." And All Might would be like, "Let me just take off my things because yeah, I can't underestimate you, young Midoriya." So he'd go for a punch to the gut. This is All Might. He'd go to punch for the gut. Oh, Deku would be launched backwards, but then he get up and he starts sprinting to All Might, and he'd be fighting, punching, and then he'd be punching nowhere near his, All Might's vital spot because he knows of that, yeah, obviously. And then Bakugo would just sneak up and say, he'd blast All Might from the back, which would send All Might flying a wee bit, like a couple of feet, and All Might would go to Bakugo, and Deku would be behind him and say, "Oh no, All Might, don't forget about me," and punch him miles away. This is after 3 spins of his wheel, obviously, and All Might be sent flying, and then All Might would come back and say, "Don't think you're done with me, young Midoriya," and they start fighting again and again until one more adaptation, and then Deku would punch him one final time, knocking him down, and then he'd still be in his buff form, obviously, duh. And then Bakugo and Deku would just chain up and be like, "They've completed their fight, they've completed the exam," and everyone would be shocked. He beat All Might basically by himself. Oh nah, bro. And everyone, and they'd be shocked of how overpowered his quirk is, that if you don't finish him off or knock him out, he'll just adapt to you and finish you. Like it's just so overpowered. Like, he can adapt to your quirk. If you cancel his quirk out, he'll just adapt to it. Like, Maharaga's ability is to adapt to any and all phenomenon. Don't understand how powerful that is, especially in this type of a comedy. So after that, they obviously, some people failed the written part. Obviously, like there's some people stupid, but that could pass like in the original, and they go to the bus, obviously, to go to the Wild Pussycats. Yes, they're called that, if I remember correct. No, I feel like I'm forgetting a whole part of this what if. Oh yeah, I'm forgetting about the Stain arc, as I like to call it. Deku this time would go with by agency. I feel like he'd go with probably the rabbit girl, because yeah, he learned more martial arts and stuff like that, more tactics, patrolling and stuff. Ida would die. Yeah, sadly he would die. trying to get revenge for his brother who died. So yeah, everyone will mourn for that. But anyway, back to the Wild Wild Pussycats. Just skipped over Edith's death, Ola's death. Like it didn't matter. So yeah, basically it's like in canon really. Nothing really much would change except for that the villains wouldn't attack this time because they're not ready. Because yeah, they've seen what Deku has done. So overall would try and prepare a more stronger creature. Or like try and boost up Shigaragi's like ability. So nothing would happen really. Just goes as normal. Just goes as a normal ass day, normal ass camp training. Deku would be training a lot. He'd be blasted left and right, getting his quirk cancelled left and right, getting his gut blown out, his arm chopped off, and he'd be adapting to all of this gravity, just to everybody's quirk. Even the next class over would start just attacking this man to get him beefier, faster. Just man, he just gets cracked out during this training arc. You don't even want to know. And that is this part over and done with, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace out.